Hey everyone, it's KK. I hope you all are doing well. This week's Scrappy challenge was to use stamps on our layout. So I'm going to start out by pulling some inks from Stampin' Up. And basically what I'm going to do is use this Amy Tangerine stamp set and this camera in particular. And I'm going to take that stamp and basically I'm just going to make a horizontal row across the page. Now when I start stamping, one thing I do want to do is stamp off the page just so it looks kind of more haphazard, I guess, instead of planned, if that makes sense. And once I get that whole row of cameras done, I'm going to use some pattern paper to create this vertical line. And once I do this, the basic idea that I have in mind is that where these two lines intersect, I'm basically going to use that area to layer up my papers and build my layout. And so I go ahead and pull this sheet of pattern paper from the 6x6 pad. And when I put it down, what I do realize is that this row of stamping is not like heavy enough, if that makes sense. Like that doesn't have enough weight on the page. So I go ahead and get a different ink and I stamp that camera one more time, creating kind of a thicker band of that stamping, if you will. And I'm just stamping, like centering the second stamp in the gap between the two other ones above, if that makes sense. And once I kind of start looking at it, I realized that I would like those stamps to be vertical instead of horizontal. I think because everything was going to be resting on that horizontal portion of the page, and those stamps, since they were not filled in, they were pretty light, if that makes sense, and I just didn't like that. So I used some washi here just to cover up that free edge of the pattern paper, and then I took another chunk of pattern paper and I matted this on a piece of gray cardstock, and this is where I'm going to start building. So I'm just taking another sheet of 6x6 to put on here, and what I'm realizing here is that the pattern paper that I just laid down, it's kind of centered, which is kind of different for me. I tend to put everything to the left or to the right, but I went ahead and went with this, but I did move my picture over a little bit to the left so that way it had some balance. I'm not really sure why I took that washi up, but I did, and at this point I wish that I would have not, or I would not have done that, if that makes sense. Here I'm just laying down one of the pockets, and I went ahead and brought in some different washi, some blue and I guess white chevron to mimic that pocket, and I also brought in some more of that gray again, just to kind of mark where I was going to build my embellishment clusters. So the first thing I looked at to build the embellishment clusters was the sticker book that I had for this collection. So I chose that frame, and I also chose that I think it says "You Are My Favorite," but that doesn't end up making it on the page at all. And I go ahead and tuck this label up here just to give it some more weight. And I really like that circle because I just like the difference of having something horizontal with something circular. So what I do is I want to use that circle sticker, but I need something there that's horizontal. So what I do is I punch out a shape out of some gray cardstock. And then I kind of don't like that because I feel like it needs some pattern or some texture. So I go and I find some pattern paper, and I'm just going to change it out for the pattern paper, the same exact punch, and I like the way it looks much better. So I've matted that sticker with gray cardstock, and I just use my punch to punch it out. And what I do is I want to be able to put that on some foam dots. So right now I think I'm punching that shape out of pattern paper. Yeah, here it comes. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on, and I'm going to use foam dots. And right where I place it, I'm trying to place that sticker where that cup is in the photograph just to cover it up. And when I do that underneath it, I have this little bit of like kind of an awkward space underneath there. And you're going to see that once I adhere this. So at this point, I see that little awkward space right there. I'm trying to figure out something to put in there so it doesn't look so strange. So I find this sticker, but it ends up working better somewhere else on the layout. Now in that pocket, I've used a die cut that looks kind of like a library card, and I have this sticker that looks like either a library card or maybe a ledger paper or something. And I'm just going to use that to create another layer back there, but right now I'm just trying to get the spacing right. And once I do that, it's like I keep finding things that go on the layout, but I still haven't found anything for that exact spot yet. That's kind of awkward. So what I realize is that I'm not going to find anything in what I have. So I go ahead and stamp that same camera stamp on a piece of pattern paper, and I fussy cut it and I put it on pop dots, and I'm going to add that to the cluster because I think that that's the right shape and size that I need, but I just can't find anything else. So at this point I remove these little pop dots because I think that I'm going to put that sticker down flush, but I actually didn't like it, so in a bit I end up bringing the pop dots back in for that. So I'm just kind of adjusting the spacing of this. Now at this point I go ahead and stamp that camera one more time and cut it out just so I can pop it up there on the left so I can have the camera in 3 different places. I also like that it provides a pop of pink in that top corner. Now at this point I'm going to go ahead and use some October Afternoon alphas and some thickers to work on my title. And the title's a bit hard to read I think in video, but it says Lala Love. And that photograph is of my younger cousin, and her name is Lala. And the journaling is basically about just how wonderful I think that she is. And so that's a wrap for this layout, so here are a few close-ups. So here's a close-up of the stamping, and I think it turned out nicely. I think it came out very crisp, especially considering there was texture to the cardstock. And here's just an overall look at the layout. You can see there where I added that tab to the journaling card using my Jenny Boleyn punch, and you can also see where I fussy cut the cameras and added some enamel dots. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to watch the other girls, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye bye.